done some notes to your question, so I like to be prepared.
Okay, good. We're live. All right. Welcome to the Sparkle and Thrive podcast. This is your host, Joy Foster. I am so excited this morning because we have one of our self-study students with us. Now, our self-study program is undergoing a big moment and will reopening again in June. And so by the time you hear this podcast, it may or may not be open, but I'm assuming we're going to release this podcast around the time that it opens. And Esme has been on the original version of the self-study program and has enjoyed it and has got through all of it and has now moved on to our progression program. So Esme, thank you for taking time to be with us today. I really appreciate that. And I'd love to hear about your experience in our self-study program.
Yes, thank you for inviting me on. This is slightly scary, but we'll get through it.
You totally will get through this. Now, tell me where you were when you found TechPixies, what appealed to you, why you chose to do the program, and what you've enjoyed about the self-study program.
Well, I can tell you physically where I was. It was an autumnal evening. I was, wrapped up in my blanket, watching telly, surfing, the net and Facebook, and up popped this advert for TechPixies on my feed. I thought, oh, this sounds interesting. I'm a graphic designer, and I've always sort of gone, oh, I'm not doing social media. No, I'm going to stick to branding and printing. But the world is changing. So I thought, oh, it might be quite good to have some more skills. But because I was only sort of using it personally, it's like, well, there must be something more to this, and how people get posting and get followers. There's got to be something more. So your advert, your little, I think it was a little video you did, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. So I clicked and joined your video, and there we go. We're now a couple of years, I think, down the track.
I know, it's incredible because you have really been in our world for a while, and you did not go down the coaching route. You went down the self-study route, which was something that we introduced as an option for people who either couldn't make coaching calls, or it didn't work with their schedule, or they wanted a more self-paced program. What has been your experience with it? How has that worked for you?
Well, because I'm a freelance graphic designer, and I run my late parents' farm as well, time is just, like the last 2 months, April and May, is just such a busy time on the farm. I just can't sign up to like a 6-week course or a course at the college, or because I just can't commit to it. So it's just been invaluable where I can just dip in and dip out. And learn more about social media. So.
And what have you loved the most about the program? What's been the surprise for you?
Well, recently, this last week, the reach, the power of social media, and
yes, tell us. Okay, yeah, let's tell the story, because one of the things that we do every week at TechPixies. So anyone who's in our programs, our self-study program, our other programs that we run, we have around social media, we have a TechPixies community hub, which is for all of our social media students. And every Friday we ask people to share their wins. And you had a major win that you shared. So let's talk about that. That would be brilliant.
Yes, definitely. Well, I was at the farm, week last Monday, and someone came to the gate and said, the family graveyard is up for sale, and the church is going to be redeveloped. And did you know they're going to be moving gravestones to the side of the graveyard? I says, no, I didn't know anything about it. So I went on to the planning site, read about it, and then I says, oh, well, I'll just put a post on social media, and I belong to a couple of local community groups. Well, I just put in, did you know there's going to be development to the churchyard? I don't feel this is ethical that they're moving gravestones, turning half the churchyard into a garden, blah, 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 and whoa, boom. the response, I also listed, I went around the graveyard and listed a lot of the names of family gravestones that were going to be at risk. I thought, oh, these people aren't going to be around, you know, it's over 100 years old. And wow, the response. And I went down to the graveyard and people just were coming up to me. And yeah, so we've managed to put in quite a few objections, which I think is going to make the planners sort of halt it and take note at the moment. So we're not adverse to the building being redeveloped because it's a lovely old church and that'll be fantastic, but we just don't want half the graveyard making into a garden. So yeah, I've now sort of become a little head of a protest activist group as well.
Using social media. I mean, that's incredible. And before you did the self-study program, would you have A, known how to do it, and B, had the courage to do it?
No. So yes, because I only sort of use social media, and I was very, as you say, you know, I didn't have my visibility cloak was, you know, was definitely,
your invisibility cloak was firmly on.
Yes, exactly.
As they say. Yeah. In our social media superhero bootcamp, the first thing we talk about is taking off your invisibility cloak. And actually, for a lot of women, I mean, it's for everybody, but mostly for women in that sort of 40s to 60s plus range, where we sort of didn't grow up with social media. Going on to it later on in life is it can be challenging for some people, and it is about taking off that invisibility cloak and realizing your message is more important than your fear. And this message around the graveyard is way more important than the fear that you might have around it. And obviously it was important because people shared it, commented on it, and now you've got a whole movement. That is incredible. So I love how the program helped you even on a personal level, in a way that you might not have expected.
Yeah. So I'm also another reason for joining the program and learning more about social media is to enhance my offering to my clients. You know, on graphic design, branding, you know, develop their logo, but also can provide, you know, support on doing a website and doing their social media page. So my sort of trial project is for my friend for her reindeer events business. So I set that up in September last year. So we're gradually sort of gaining pace with that, and
I love that, a reindeer business. That is so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just the point. I mean, the other thing we see all the time is people from all different backgrounds with all different businesses using social media. It's one of those things that's ubiquitous. Like every business needs social media. And when you do have the graphic design skills and you can offer not just, you know, you've got the full suite now. You can set up the website, you can set up the social, you can get everything working together and all branded. You know, we're big fans of making sure your brand goes all the way through everything that you do. That's really cool. I love that. So as a self-study student, what are your top tips for our other self-study students who, you know, because you've obviously clearly gone through all the material because you then advanced onwards to our progression program. But tell me what it is that you've been able to do, how you've structured your time, or any top tips you have to help people who are thinking, I'll do self-study, but I might need some tips on how to get it done.
Well, I went in there, you know, watched the videos, very interesting, right? So yeah, I've watched the videos, did the quizzes, and it was like, oh, that wasn't discussed in there, because you know, you don't make it easy for us on the quizzes. Is you reword stuff and stuff like that. I was like, oh, so I had to stop the quizzes, rewatch the video, write some notes, then do the quizzes, and then I you know, got through them, got my certificate, which is great, brilliant. And it was like, oh, and then doing the technical videos and the how-to videos. I mean, they take a lot more time, but I've just found those invaluable because I like to know how things work and how to do things. So that's one of my favorites really, and it's valuable. I put some more stuff down here. I'm putting it into practice really then. So I don't sort of whiz through everything. I do a module, make sure I've got my head around it, and then move on. So yes, and fit it around everything else. So I try and put aside right, so this week Thursday I'm going to do the module and get through it. So yeah.
Okay, so that's very very similar to Amanda, who I also interviewed, one of our other self-study students. She sort of would do a module on a day, and you really can, because the lessons are designed to be like maximum 10 minutes. So you can watch a lesson, do a quiz, watch a lesson, do a quiz, watch a lesson, do a quiz, and after you've watched 7 lessons and done 7 quizzes, you've passed the module. And then now that you have a basic understanding, it's much easier to go and watch the how-to videos and then put those into place. Did you find value in learning how all the networks worked? Because sometimes we get people to ask the question like, I just want to learn Instagram, or I just want to learn LinkedIn. Is there a value to having a broad understanding of how all the different networks work?
I think so. I have gravitated to the ones I think I wanted to use. So, the Facebook, the Instagram, and Pinterest. I just love the platform. That's induces a lot of hop a 6 drinking my coffee. Oh, let's have a little browse through Pinterest, and next you're down this rabbit hole and down another one, and then I have to, like, 7 o'clock, right, I really must get up and get going. Yeah, I'm not so keen on the Twitter, but I've done the module, I've got an understanding of it. Whereas, because it's very sort of business to business linked, but that will come in useful for when I for my graphic design business, or even just getting working in with a company, updating their Twitter page or whatever. So yeah.
Well, and that's what I find the value in, is that having the understanding of all the networks gives you the ability to when someone says, I've got a job and I need you to do it on these 3 networks or those 4 networks, that you understand the network, and you've got the videos to go into if you need to do it. So I think that is definitely invaluable. And there's a lot of similarities, and then there's also some major differences. And when you have those nuances, it makes a big difference. What else would you like to share about your experience at TechPixies?
Well, before I signed up, I was looking to maybe do a master's degree. And I thought, well, I haven't been back in studying, studied to that sort of level since, 25 years. And I thought, I really can't commit the time. And I thought, well, the social media will be more beneficial to me, money wise, and getting more clients. So that's why I did it, really. So yeah, I don't know what else to say.
And now that you've finished the main content of the self-study program and you've moved on to progression, talk to us about that, what your experience is there. Have you enjoyed that?
Yeah, and I like the layout of the new website, and it's a lot easier to find stuff and study and pop in and pop out of it. The Facebook community hub I find is invaluable, because you can just ask a question and also see questions other pixies have asked, and you think, oh, I didn't know that would be an issue, like just sort of logging on, or whatever the problem is. So you're sort of always learning, and you're always part of this community, and there are like-minded people out there, and yeah, it's great, the community. And being on self-study, you are sort of on your own, really, because you're not a part of like the coaching or the 6-week course, really. So yeah, I just love it. I'm a tech pixie. I just love it.
We just love that you've been in the community and stayed in the community, and that you've been able to leverage it. I love that you've been able to leverage Facebook in order to potentially save the graveyard. I mean, that's such a big deal. So if someone's thinking about joining the self-study program, what would you say to them?
Definitely, do it, work out why you want to do it, really, and just take it one sort of step at a time. And
I think scheduling it, like you said, on your calendar, and having a goal for that time period. When you scheduled the time on your calendar, how much time did you block out?
I block out a day to do the quizzes, and then I start the technical how-to videos.
Okay, so you would block out a day to watch the module, take the quizzes, get that certification all done.
Yeah. And then also I have books, so I download the sort of notes. I just sort of get the books so I can get organized.
Oh yeah, love to see that. So with each of our, oh, I love it. That's awesome. So with each of our, we have a support document for every single lesson in the program. And of course we've got many modules and many lessons. So there's, many things to download. So show us your notebook.
This is my Instagram and Facebook. So when it's on my shelf, you see that? I've got that.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I just print off everything.
Oh, I love that. So you've almost made like a scrap. So those of you who are listening,
it's like a journal. Yeah. So all bits. Just let me find something. Yeah. So we've got the bees, and I
love that.
Actually, writing it out and doing notes helps to retain the information more.
I love that so much. So what you've done, just so I can explain to people who are listening, because some people will be listening. So taken screenshots of the slides and also parts. Yeah, that's brilliant. And parts of the support documents. She's printed them out, cut them out, put them into her notebook, and made it almost like a scrapbook. Esme, I absolutely love this.
My wheel of life.
Oh, wow. Yes.
I'll even show you, because I have this on my board, my chalkboard, my 2 vision boards.
Brilliant. Yes. And one thing that we do when people come into the program is we encourage them to create a vision board through the Social Media Superhero Bootcamp. So you've created 2 vision boards, one for your life and one for the farm.
Yes. Yeah, I have, which is secret. So we won't show too much.
Okay. We won't show too much. And so tell us about your life vision. What's on your vision board for your life? I'm super curious.
Well, basically, I run my late parents' farm, and it was during COVID, and we were up there, and my husband says, "Oh, I quite like this lifestyle." And I went, "Do you?" It's all kind of snowballing into what I can do with it and diversify, and basically, live a different life.
Well, we have a few TechPixie farmers in our community, more than a few now. So
we need to connect.
Yes, you do. Emma Middleton is one of our other TechPixie farmers. I've got a few other names I can give you as well, but we've got a little ecosystem within the community of farmers. That's brilliant. Well, Esme, I want to thank you for your time. It's been brilliant catching up with you. And I absolutely love your scrapbook. I think we need to get you to take a couple photos of that and drop it into the Facebook group to show people what it is.
I also highlight stuff,
That's so great. Well, and we've got a live viewer, Liz, one of our brand new TechPixies, and she says, "Oh, I love this, Esme. Farm life. Definitely need to connect, as I have a small holding in livestock." There we go. Wow. I think we're gonna have to create a star pod just for all you farmer ladies.
Yeah, definitely. Farmers' daughters. Yeah. Definitely.
There we go. I love it. I love it. Well, Esme, I so appreciate your time today, and 100% just love your story and your enthusiasm and your dedication and loyalty to the company. Obviously this is your investment in you. But the fact that you continue to stay on is also wonderful for us and our team because it keeps people on our side in jobs and supporting you and all that wonderful thing. So it's mutual admiration. And I hope that we continue this relationship for a long time. And I appreciate you taking the time to come onto the podcast.
Thank you very much. I will see you on Monday.
Yeah. See you on Monday. All right.
Monday. Yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Wasn't that wonderful? I think it was super fun to catch up with one of our self-study students. We introduced the self-study program as a trial to solve the problem of people who really couldn't come to the coaching calls, or as you heard from Esme, and also if you've listened to Amanda's podcast, the challenges that they had really with time. When we interviewed Amanda, she's got a full-time job, and with Esme, she's running a farm, so there's a lot going on there, which makes it difficult for someone to come to coaching calls and be present for those coaching calls. So our brand new revamped self-study program is going to be coming out in June. I believe June the 12th is around the release date, but don't quote me on that because things can always change. It's relatively the same program. We're just restructuring it so it's even better for our self-study students. So if you're interested in that and you have any questions, please contact support@techpixies.com. We would love to answer any questions that you might have. And of course, if you're interested in any of our other programs, we have an 18-week social media management certification program. You can contact us. We also have a brand new business beyond social. So for people who already have a social media presence and don't feel they need social media training, but they want business training, we have that program as well. There's a few spaces, like only a couple spaces left in that program. And of course, if you're not sure what you want to do at all in life, because that sometimes happens, we have a life coaching program called Dream Builder. So, TechPixies is all about supporting you where you're at, whether you're trying to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life and you have no clue, that's our life coaching program, or you want to lean into learning how to use social media for yourself personally or for your business, or so that you can be a social media manager. We've got our social media coaching programs and self-study programs. And then for those of you who really want to go to the next level with your business and set up the foundations for a business that turns over 50 to 100,000 pounds a year, we have the Business Beyond Social program. That's an application only program. And then if you are at the 50 to 100,000 plus level already, then we will invite you into our Level Up Mastermind, which is a wonderful program that helps women connect with each other at that level to build their businesses even beyond that level. So those are all the options we have at TechPixies. And of course, we have tons of free resources. So on our website, if you go to techpixies.com/free resources, you'll see all of our free resources. We've got get started guides for all of the social media networks. We have all of our free training programs, from the vision workshop to the social media super boot camp, to the social media crash course, to our 5 things you should be doing in your business right now webinar. So there's lots of different free resources that you can get. And of course, our podcast, which is Sparkle and Thrive on Apple and on Spotify, are also great options for you as well. All right, we're going to start a second podcast today. So give me a second to just switch over to the new podcast guest, and I'm going to do a new intro, and we'll start up again. We're doing back-to-back podcast episodes, which is super fun for me, and also fun for those of you who are watching. So hi, welcome to the Sparkle and Thrive podcast. This is Joy Foster, your host, and today I am joined by Sophie Bradley, one of our much loved Instagram coaches, and her dog Amber, the Cobra Potter. So I am so excited that she's here with her dog, and we're going to talk all about Amber today. Amber is quite a popular dog these days, and so we want to know more about what's going on in Amber's life and also what's going on in Sophie's life. Sophie, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you doing? I had to do it. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Loud and clear. That's perfect.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
So I'll let her pose. She's like, what is going on? It's really lovely to be here. It really is, actually, with this little friend of mine called Amber the Cav Reporter, my little therapy dog and therapy dog to others as well. And to be on the podcast with you, Joy, as well. Be really great fun, actually.
Well, you are. So we just have to start from the beginning. Now, you came into TechPixies as one of our original self-study students, like ages and ages and ages ago. And I always joke, 5 years ago. I always joke that the only reason the self-study program, or the only reason the online version of the program got finished, was because you were messaging me going, when's the next module going to release? When's the next module going to release? So Sophie is to blame for the program actually getting finished. No, so thank you. Much gratitude for you on that. But you really were one of our first online students, and you went on to be one of our first London coaches, face-to-face coaches, and now you're our Instagram coach, and you've been coaching for 5 years now. We love you, and we're so grateful to have you. But when you started the program, you were not ready to be on social media yourself. Your invisibility cloak was firmly on, but you got an idea, and that idea was that Amber could be the star of social media. So let's talk about that.
Well, it was an amazing thing, actually, because I thought, I wanted to look at the positive on social media, because I come from a background in social work and teaching, and social media can sometimes have a really negative viewpoint from that, when you work in that world. But actually the power of social media to be able to get messages through and really raise community voices is something that I'm so passionate about. But so actually seeing the positives on social media and pinpointing areas that I loved to be inspired by, to go and find accounts that really, connected with me, to do with, architecture and design and dogs as well. And I thought, do you know what, as a starting point to get myself out there, to learn how to use the different features on Instagram through the modules and be able to put into action what I was learning, to be able to connect with people, to be able to grow my community, because that's what you're doing on social media, is you're growing community around you, but you want to be part of other people's communities as well, and really get to know them and what they're about, their values, what they like, any events that they're doing. And I thought, this is a wonderful way to do it, because I can be the voice behind my dog. And I don't have to put myself out there straight away. So I can learn how to use Instagram, learn how to market actually, this little dog, but also connect with everybody. And that's how I started. And it was a great way to gain confidence in my voice, actually, even just writing captions, putting those out, and then connecting with people and commenting and all those things that feel ridiculous when you start out. Actually, when you haven't been involved in the world of social media, it was that stepping stone that really helped me. And I met the most amazing people through Amber's account, collaborated with people, worked with people, grew her account, understood the world of influencing as well. As a little micro influencer, took it as far as I wanted to take it. And that's another message that's really key as well, is that I had control in this and I could take it as far as I wanted to take it. So I could get involved with other businesses if I wanted to or not. And I had that choice. And it was very empowering, actually, for me to find my voice that I already had, to use it actually, and to be able to, to say no when I didn't want to, and say yes when I wanted to as well, through the voice of a dog. And then obviously people got to know me as well. And then I began to showcase myself more and more on social media, and then moved across to then setting up my own account. So it was a really lovely stepping stone and progressive way to build my confidence, and get myself out there and really see the good actually in social media, and especially on Instagram, that at times can be a bit of a grrr situation where it just never stops updating. And but it's such a powerful tool if you use it well, and if you use it for good things as well. I've got the thing, hashtag social for good, or I'll talk about another hashtag that I'm talking about at the moment, but it's really important to me actually that it's used well, that you have good strong foundations. And that's what the TechPixies course gave me. It really did. It gave me those strong foundations. And seeing now, the women who come through, who I'm able to coach, and then I'm paying it back, in many respects, because seeing those light bulb moments, when I'm doing those coaching calls, is I get quite emotional. It's the most precious thing that you can ever experience, is seeing somebody else get that moment of clarity, and they understand why they're using, Instagram in particular, because that's what I coach on, but they understand why they're using that platform. They understand how to use it better, and they're gaining confidence in themselves on that platform, but they're gaining confidence in themselves just generally, and that filters through into their life, with their families, with their work, their starting up business. Seriously, it's catapults you if you get the good foundations, and that's what I got, and I was really supported through by this little one as well. So yes,
well,
that's
we
my
just got a
ramble.
live comment that says, I now have the perfect excuse to get a dog. Not that I needed one, but it will help me win the discussion with my family.
I love it. Why not?
But here's the deal. Like, you've had, this has been an adventure, and I want to talk about some of the highlights of the adventure. So I'm sure there's more that you can tell us than I even know about. But there's been a recent major event so tell us about that, where Amber's been featured.
Well, recently we were for the coronation, whether you're a royalist or not, whether you agree with all of it or not, we were invited to be part of the Connaught Cavalier King Charles official photograph, and so we were invited to the Connaught in London, and that was a fantastic day. And then we were also part of 150 Cavalier King Charles Spaniels that paraded down the King's Road on the 6th of May, all to do with different communities coming together and also raising funds for a wonderful charity that supports and looks after Cavalier King Charles that had a really hard start to their lives through puppy farming. And it's raising awareness about really honing into looking after our Cavaliers and animals in general, and dogs, to be a good owner. And they're called Bliss Cavalier Rescue. And so that happened on Saturday. So that was an amazing event to be a part of. It was raining and none of us cared, because if you own a dog, to be honest with you, you're used to the rain.
You're in the rain anyway.
You are. So that was
especially
fun,
in this country.
Oh gosh, yes. It was a shame, but it wasn't actually. It made for the day to be even more memorable. And all these dog owners coming together, and doing good actually, and supporting small businesses locally as well. And that was really important as well. So there's that. And then I've also in the past, been approached by the Uber boat in London, and we did a big campaign with them because we travelled into London. That was pre-COVID. And they found us through Instagram, through
and
our
you
stories.
You were on like a huge billboard in London.
We were in the Evening Standard as well, and it was all about commuting on the Uber boat known as the Thames Clipper. But it was great as well. It was great to get people to be aware of me as well and my work, and that was quite a big thing for me, because not about just being visible and being out there. It was quite scary, but I did it. I put my brave pants on, as we say. I really did. I went out there and just did it, and thought, don't think about it too much, just do it. That's what you've always said to me, Joy, just do it. And what's the worst that can happen? Well, nothing. Actually, it was really quite good fun. And then other things that we got involved with as well is that because prior to upskilling and retraining with yourselves at TechPixies, I became very unwell before that, and I burnt out, and I had PTSD and anxiety and depression, and it took me a year to recover. And as part of that recovery, I walked, and I walked a lot, and I became healthier, which is a good thing. But also it was very good for my mindfulness and keeping me well. And so I thought, what better way than when I'm walking than to raise money for charities that mean a great deal to me. So with Amber, last year we walked for Mind, and we raised nearly £1,300 for Mind. And this year we're walking for Pets as Therapy, which is a charity very close to our heart, because Amber, I'll put her in focus. Amber and I have we have been volunteers for Pets as Therapy as well. So going out and supporting others who have been in difficult situations to gain the benefit from these wonderful little creatures, which I know that you are now actually going down that journey of having a dog in your life.
Yes. I tried to wear her out before the podcast interview so she would be sound asleep on the floor, and she's way too big to sit on my lap anymore. But
exactly.
Yeah, I admire her. Actually, one of the things looking at your account, and I've put it into the comments below in case anyone wants to follow it. I mean, Amber's account is, you've got some beautiful photography. So has it also enhanced your photography skills?
Yeah, massively, actually. It's enabled me to understand how to compose images, how lighting as well. I'm not saying we all have to be, that specific, but it was something that I grew to love, and I loved experimenting, and I'm loving creating videos with it and reels, and it's a great place actually for me to trial out new features, because it's not on my business page, and if people don't know about it as much, it doesn't matter what quite what it looks like. And it's not about looks, but you do have to create a video that's going to hook people, that's going to catch their attention, and is going to get the message out as well. You do want to do that with your images. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not about that. But for me, it's enabled me to really understand those different elements of, composing an image and lighting, and what works actually, and then going back into my analytics and thinking, why does that work actually? I bet that's to do with that image because of the way it looks. So yes, no, it has actually, and I've also worked with photographers as well, and supported them actually in their growth. So small business owners, and moving into the world of dog photography and learning how to use photographing a dog, because it's not an easy thing to do. It looks like it would be, but it's not. To have a dog sit and do what you want it to do, well, it doesn't want to do that. So it's good to have a good art director on site, i.e. the dog handler, who can really get their dog to do as much as you want them to do. So yes, it's been great that way as well, to work collaboratively with small business owners on her account.
How much have you raised so far for this this round?
We've only just started actually. So we started last weekend. So I've raised £40 for Pets Therapy, which is amazing. I've got a target of £250, and I know that at this times are tough. So it
I have no doubt you're going to reach that goal. Now tell me, where can people find the link to make a donation if they want to support you on this walk?
That's a very good point. Well, you can find it in Amber the Cav Reporter's bio, but you can also find it on Socially Sophie B's bio. And the reason being is because Amber the Cav Reporter, when she created the post, or the initial post, asked Socially Sophie B to be a collaborator. So by asking me to be a collaborator means that when I accept a post that has got a fundraising element within the post itself, it then shows up on both accounts, which is a brilliant technique to use if you're going to be collaborating with somebody relating to a fundraising event. If you put it in your initial post, that the fundraising is there, you collaborate with somebody, you invite them to be a collaborator, it will show up on their bio as well. So it's a great way of getting that visibility on that fundraising event.
So the fundraising is going straight through the social network?
It's going straight through Instagram. So it's set up through Instagram. Instagram itself does not take any money from it, which is actually really good. So it's holding it as such, and then it will go directly to Pets Therapy, and it runs for 30 days. And then it moves straight across into Pets Therapy. So yes.
And then can you use, when you create, so I see that you've created a reel that's you walking Amber, and then you've got click to find out more. And I can't on a computer, I can't click through to buy something, but on a phone I can, or I can to donate. So if you wanted to create multiple posts for that same fundraiser, can you, or is it just that one post that's linked?
What did I do the other day? No, you can add, because I've actually got another one on my on Amber's page that links back to that fundraiser. So when you would go in, you can't do it through a scheduling tool, you can't do it through Creator Studio, you'd have to do it, or any other external scheduling tool, you have to do it natively in the actual Instagram app. But if you were to create a new post, when you get to the last part where you put your caption and you tag people in there, as you go down, you'll actually see it says fundraiser. And in there, if you tap on that and you add Pets Therapy, it will come up with the initial fundraiser that you've already done. Because if you look at Amber's page, you'll actually see that there's another post on there that links to the original campaign one. So there's an image of her looking at a lovely book called Top Dogs, and that one actually there is saying supporting Pets Therapy. So it will enable you once again, because I've added that fundraiser to the post.
I love it. Yeah. And this is a great tip for anyone that wants to use social media to fundraise, where you're just doing it all directly through the network itself. So yes, and I'm looking at it too. One of the things you can see is a little heart with a heart inside of a coin on the in the top right on the picture, so that you know that it's connected to the fundraiser. And then it says, supporting pets is therapy, and then it goes into your donation page. That's very cool. So and also what's that's really, I love it. I love it. Thank you for telling. I mean, hey guys, we didn't know we were going to get a little how-to lesson on setting up a fundraising campaign.
No, it's so powerful,
We just got it.
That's the power of Instagram. It really is. And as I said, if it's used well and you have really good foundations and you know how these different features, sometimes it can be overwhelming and you think, God, I don't need to know all of them. But if you have a strategy that you're going to do some kind of charitable event, and you want to think, how can I use this app to help me to raise awareness and to raise funds, if possible, during these tough times that we're going through the cost of living crisis, that and so you don't want to put burden on people, then you actually understand that this app can help you. So if you have that positive mentality about Instagram and about any social media platform, actually, then I truly believe, yes, you'll get a bit of rubbish along the way. It's life, isn't it? But you'll truly generate
block and delete.
Yeah. So yes. So that's your little tip for today.
All right, now let's talk about some major changes that have happened in your life recently, which I'm super excited about. Now, LinkUp London for a while has had TechPixies infiltrating it. And so let's talk about your connection with LinkUp London and now what you're doing for them. You're doing some incredible work for them.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, actually. LinkUp London is an organization really close to my heart. It's about bringing, harnessing professional skills to support social good organizations. Social good organizations are charities, community groups, and social enterprises within the London area. So it's across London. And it's about people who have, professional skills. So you could be in HR, you could be in marketing, comms, a varied background, and really paying it back by becoming a volunteer and being matched to a social good organization. So as I said, charity, social enterprise, or community group, and working through a plan with them and being supported by LinkUp London themselves in order to do that. Now, I found about them because of another tech pixie who was on my initial cohort.
It was one of your students.
I know.
It was one of first London cohort that you ran. This is the power of our community, though. There's such a deep connection with people, and those relationships last for a long time. And this is what comes out of them. So yeah, so tell us more.
So it was amazing. So lovely Jules, went to work with LinkUp London, and so I became aware of them. And I'd had a really tough time last year on a personal level with family members, and not being well, and things were improving and getting a little bit calmer. And this post came up on LinkedIn. See the power of LinkedIn. About a flash consulting event that they were going to be running in London, in Battersea, where they were going to bring lots of small, charities into one place on one evening. And strategically, if you could actually, impart some advice and support on a strategic level for them for 1 hour, to get involved. And I thought, do you know what? I need to do something that isn't just to do with social media. With small businesses, and I need to go back a little bit to my roots. And my roots as a social worker, you can hear it through everything I talk about. It's always about paying back and community growth. You know me, Joy. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do this. So I signed up, and it was an amazing experience. They sent out details of this wonderful organization that runs theatre productions for communities, and amazing work that they're doing on the Windrush community as well. Fantastic stuff, seriously, and I've learned so much about that as well. So it opened my eyes. And I went to the event having known about what they were looking for in terms of social media support, and just a 1 hour to give them a taster, to give them some ideas that they could drive forward with, or we could then try and match them to work as an ongoing piece of work. It's that stepping stone as such. And it was so powerful that I actually thought, I learned so much from the experience. And they were so wonderful, LinkUp London, in terms of how they matched me and they guided me through, and this wonderful organisation called Five-A-Side Theatre that they've supported with to create an amazing video that they can showcase on their website as well, all created by another skilled volunteer.
Wow.
And I just thought, you know what, this is so good, this is powerful. And you know, if we can share our skills in this way, and it doesn't have to be a long piece of work, it could be something small like an hour, or it could be something that's over a period of time, you gain so much yourself, but you see the good. And then the knock-on effect is that, you know, that organization then, you know, wants to employ somebody to, because they've raised their own visibility. The knock-on effect is huge from something that you would think is very small. And you know, actually, you know, why would I get involved? So I did. And then Christmas came and a bit more crisis happened in my life. And but you know, I thought, this job came up. It was part-time, and it was to launch a program to bring comms and marketing professionals with their skills on board to be matched with these social good organizations. Wow. On a tailored and structured program. And so I thought, you know what, this is bringing my two worlds together. And although it's not me directly doing the social media work, it's the contacts I have, it's imparting that passion and drive for people in the comms and marketing world to come on board and actually be able to help these SGOs raise their voice so that they can raise their visibility, they can reach the audiences that they need to reach, so that they can put in systems in place to, you know, alleviate sort of the time consuming element of doing social media marketing or their comms work, so that then they have more time to actually do the work that they desperately want to do on the shop floor, almost, as you want to call it, in their communities, to support the people that they have set out to support.
Well, and actually, when you did launch your own social media account, and you know, after you launched I Am Version, you got yours up and running, you really worked hard to connect with people within the community. So you had to have a vast network of people you've done live interviews with. So you're deeply connected and rooted in that community, which I think made you the perfect candidate. And so you when did you start this job, and how's it going? And
so I started on March the 15th. It's just part-time, so I'm still doing Socially Sophie B on the side as well, which complements it, and I'm really enjoying, actually. It's a lot, but I'm enjoying it, and that's the most important thing. And we've got a name for it now. It's called the Be Heard program, raising community voices. I get quite emotional, actually, because it means a lot. We've got a logo for it now as well, and we're connecting with local organisations, SGOs in, you know, specific boroughs as well that we're going to be working with, and so the call out really is going out to wonderful skilled volunteers in the comms and marketing world to
of
come
which
on
we
board.
have many at TechPixies.
I know. So it would be absolutely amazing to have, you know, some TechPixies to come on board, people from the wider community who maybe listen to the podcast, to think about getting involved with LinkUp London if you have marketing and comms skills. But even if you're listening to this wonderful podcast, and it is a wonderful podcast, if you've got, you know, HR skills, or, you know, strategic skills that you think, I can pay this forward and support a community organisation or charity or social enterprise in the London area, to be able to really affect change for their local communities and build these stronger communities, then come to and subscribe to LinkUp London. And even if you don't want to become a skilled volunteer,
well, and it might even be that some people listening to this are in London and have a socially good organization and want the support. They didn't know about it.
Totally. That's the other side of the coin, Joy. Thank you for saying that.
We got a lot of social good organizations at TechPixies, for sure. Women doing amazing things. So the website is linkuplondon.org. And I have also put into the chat the LinkUp London UK handle for, it's on Instagram. So if you go to Instagram, it's LinkUp London UK. So you can definitely volunteer there. You can find volunteers. So those are, and it is an amazing organization. And, you know, as Sophie said, there are TechPixies have been involved for a long time. Starting with Jules, who then dragged all the rest of us into it. And it's like not kicking and screaming. We all went running to help because, you know, it's such an amazing organization.
But it's also, I mean, that's the other thing. And I forgot to say that. So thank you for bringing that back. The TechPixies community in terms of, you know, delivering lunch and learns have been amazing. And the feedback's been so positive from the SGOs. So, you know, huge shout out to those who have been involved, you know, like Annie and Kirsty, you know, Teresa's been involved, you've been involved as well. And it means so very much that skilled professionals have come on board to, you know, donate your time actually, and your skills in this way. And it, you know, it's been invaluable for everybody's learning. So I'm just, I you can hear it. I'm so enthused and I'm so excited.
Well, I love this. One of our students, Gloria, who you've coached, she says, "Amazing, Sophie Bradley, totally you." And it's so true. I mean, this job is so you. And what I also love is that you're still able to coach for TechPixies and you're still involved in the community, and you know, and you just do some incredible work in the world. And I'm so grateful to you for that amazing work that you do. And
no, but I'm really proud actually. Okay, I do this every time I come on this, I want to cry, but it's true. You know, life was awful back in 2017, and I found TechPixies, and it literally catapulted me forward. And I've been guided, I've been supported. You know, the coaching that I do, it's a delight, it's a pleasure, it's seeing those light bulb moments. I was talking about it, you know, at LinkUp London, those light bulb moments when I come away and seeing, you know, people learning and growing on so many layers is just amazing. And I can't thank you enough for your support, your guidance. I really can't, because you've been there through, you know, from the beginning to now, and you've championed me. So thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, it's the Mutual Admiration Club here. Okay. So very important. I am so grateful to you for everything. I can't even go into all of it. I will start crying too. So let's just stick with the fact that you're amazing. You are such an asset to our community. You are such a huge asset to LinkUp London. They're going to be so, I know they're so excited and delighted to have you there. We would love for the TechPixie community to get involved as volunteers. If you need support and you're in London, you know, get involved as well. And of course, we would also love if the community could come together and help Sophie reach her 250-pound goal for pets as therapy. It means so much to her. And it means so much to all of us dog lovers. I now categorize myself as a dog mom and dog lover. I've absolutely loved the experience of having a dog. So, you know, listen, support this amazing woman. She deserves it. Support Amber. She deserves it. Sophie, there was a beautiful part where you were talking about something and Amber just sort of sat up and like very regally turned to the camera and looked at us. And I just thought it was her way of saying, you know, I'm so proud of you. And I feel like she is definitely proud of you and hopefully proud of herself as well. There we go. She just did it right there. Amber, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. You are a total superstar. And Claire Louise has just one little note to you. She says, TechPixies are saving lives. I love it. And you, Sophie, are just amazing. Hearing your story has been a privilege. Thank you for sharing. And I think that anyone who's listened to this would completely concur with Claire Louise on that one. It has been a privilege to listen to your story. And I'm so grateful that you took a chance on us. And I look forward to continuing to work with you for hopefully many years to come. And
thank you, Joy.
Do the absolute best with your walk and your fundraising, and keep us posted as to how you do with your fundraising goals.
I will. That's lovely. Thank you so much, Joy. It's been really, really lovely to come on today and talk about me. No, and very much talk about TechPixies. I can't thank you enough. Seriously, I can't. Thank you. All right.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We so appreciate you being here on this podcast episode. It was wonderful to get to tell the story of someone who was afraid to take off their invisibility cloak, decided that she was going to use her dog as the front woman for her social media, built up a social media following, but also learned how to, get PR opportunities, get incredible opportunities that she otherwise wouldn't have had, just on her own, learned how to leverage the network. And then because of all the work she did on not only her dog's account and then on her own account and all the connections she built up, she now was able to land a part-time flexible job at an organization that she loves, doing what she loves. And this is what I have to say, you guys. Social media is incredible when you leverage the power of it, and you learn to use it for good. And if you were listening to that carefully, one thing that Sophie said over and over and over again is that social media can be used for good. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of negative press around social media for sure. There's documentaries. There's a lot of proof that it's bad for mental health. And, there's a lot of studies around that. However, we also know that there are ways to use social media which are positive. A couple of my top tips, if you would like them, if you're still listening to this podcast and you'd like some top tips on how I use social media to protect my mental health, I turned off all my notifications. I have no notifications whatsoever on my phone. So that eliminated the pull into social media. I choose when to go into social media. In fact, yesterday at about 11 o'clock at night, I got into bed and I was about to go to bed and I was like, oh, I didn't even check the Facebook group today. And I know I never go a day without checking the Facebook group, but I can tell you one thing, I don't check our Facebook group every second of every day. I check it once a day. And it's usually first thing in the morning, last thing at night. And then I don't touch it because I got a lot of other stuff I got to do. So really important to turn off all your notifications. The other thing that I would encourage you to do as a challenge for a period of time, I did it for about a week and it was really, really good for helping me to stop the habit. I deleted all the social media apps from my phone and my email app from my phone for a week. And I did a complete week where the only time I could use social media or email was being on the computer. And of course, I have limited times when I'm on the computer as well. So that made a big difference for me as well when I was learning how to control social media rather than social media controlling me. And those would be my top two. But I think the other thing too is don't forget, you have the choice. If you see stuff you don't like, there's usually a ... You can click on that ... and then you can say, show me less of this, or you can block it. Or, you can block and delete things. I am a big fan of block and delete. I'm a big fan of don't show me more of these, and really having some choice over what you see on your feed. You can create and adjust the algorithm to work in your favor. And that also starts by making active choices about who you follow and making active choices about who you don't follow. So I have made really, really, really conscious, active decisions, really. To be honest, I only follow TechPixies. And there's a few people outside of TechPixies that I follow that are my mentors, but that's it. I don't really follow anybody else. I follow our community people and I follow my mentors, and that's it. And I've deleted or I don't follow people that that don't light me up and that don't help me to advance who I am. So little bonus extra on the back of the end of that episode. But in all seriousness, if you can support Sophie on her fundraising, that would be amazing. And you can go and see all of her stuff on social media at Socially Sophie B. And she's also at Amber the Cav. It's Amber the Cav, CAV _reporter, not reporter, because of course she's a dog. So REPAWTER. And you will find her on Instagram, of course, where Sophie is a complete and total expert. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And we're so glad that you came today if you're live and that you're listening on the podcast as a replay if you missed the live. Of course, if you love watching the podcast, don't forget they are recorded live on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn channels. And they are also they're also sitting on our website being hosted there. Claire Louise, who's watching live, says she moved all her work apps to her work phone, and that stays on her desk. If she's not working, she's not pulled in. I love that. Liz says, such lovely ladies and so inspiring. And Gloria Wilkinson says, sometimes we forget that life is happening while we're scrolling and we're missing it. Amen to that, sister. All right. See you guys later. Have a great day. Thank you for listening.